What's good, guys? It's Ilsun 4K. We're going to do something a little different here. We're going to be a little bit more mellow. We're not going to have so much structure. I just came home from the premiere of Terrifier 2, and I wanted to really touch on that because it is Terrifier week. This is the whole reason why it was Terrifier week, is we were leading up to this review. And this review, of course, is going to be a little shorter and mundane because I don't want to show too much footage of the film. Not that I even have a full version of the film to show footage from, because as of right now, Terrifier is still only in theaters between October 6th and 10th. And I'm sure once it hits the streaming platforms after that, pirators will have their way. But I should mention, if you want to see Terrifier in theatrical release and help it stay in theaters longer, because if it turns a profit, they will in fact keep it in the theaters, which I'm sure it will, make sure you go and follow the link down below on where to get your tickets for Terrifier 2 and help Damien Leone and his team support this thing, because Damien Leone and his team absolutely knocked it out the park. I mean, they just lined this thing up and smacked it out. This was supposed to actually come out in 2020, I believe, or 2021, but COVID pushed everything back, and I can only imagine how much more time was able to refine and make this a more processable affair that just took the literal 2.5 hours. Yes, a horror movie that is 2.5 hours. It took a horror movie that was 2.5 hours and made it enjoyable for the whole time. At no point during the film did I feel like it was being rushed. At no point did I feel like it was dragging. At no point did I feel like this scene isn't necessary, or what about this? All 2.5 hours of this film from start to finish were absolutely encapsulated perfectly. One of the greatest horror movies, if not the greatest horror movie to come out in a long time. And I mean, it's just grown so much from the 2008 iteration on this. You know, if you've seen my other videos on this, you know how old this series really is and how old the character of Art the Clown is and how many people have played Art the Clown. And speaking of Damien Leone and his team on Art the Clown, I'll go right out the gate and say David Howard Thornton as Art the Clown has completely taken this character to a new level that I didn't know it could go. He has taken the familiarity ability of this character and the fact that he has a certain style and the way he is and his mannerisms and the way he carries his, garbage bag, and he has made them all his own. He is not borrowing elements from any other horror thing out there, though I'm sure he has his inspirations, as we all do. I have mine. I'm sure he has his. But he is very clear to be his own individual with Art the Clown, and that's what makes Art the Clown so scary, and as much as I hate to say it, likable. You see Art the Clown behaving like a clown every so often, being kind of, a prick, honking horns at people and throwing candy and all sorts of stuff and laughing and very, very over-exaggerated facial expressions, and then all of a sudden he just starts chopping a motherfucker's face up and has the most stone serious face you ever saw, just invoking the fear of God, like you saw someone who finally catches their prey. A great example of this is the final scene where Art finally gets to confront the main girl, and just the glare he has in his eyes of finally, just phenomenal. Again, absolutely hilarious. Just a hilarious individual playing this clown and portraying a non-spoken role. Everything about him was just conducted in a way that's second to none. I've been following the character for quite some time. I really think that Art the Clown is easily as iconic as Freddy or Jason at this point, and there's no disputing that with this release right here, as, again, whole new element. The higher production value of everything really made this character look phenomenal. And speaking of higher production value, I'm going to go right into the whole story. I'm not going to give too much away about the story, but I will say this. The story is compelling and well written. It's very engaging and it's thought-provoking in its own way. It has its elements even of a little bit of 80s cheese here and there, but very little. I'm talking very much so at the end, just a nod to let you know it's there. It was just so well done. The individuals in the story, the main actress, who unfortunately his name I do not know offhand, and I should, but again, I just got home and turned on the camera and wanted to get everything going. I even had the lights set up and everything. She did a fantastic job leading and carrying this movie as the main actress and heroine in this. It was unbelievable to see the portrayal of somebody that I've never seen on the screen before, at least that I know of, maybe somewhere else, and just knock it out the park as much as Art. She is easily going to be one of the most famous final girls in horror for quite some time. Maybe you could say up there with your Sigourney Weavers in Alien, given how brave she really is and the depth and magnitude of what she's stopping happening in this film and how she gets dragged into it and doesn't even understand how she's a part of this mythology, as she has her own mythos. But she is connected to Art the Clown in a way that is still actually a little unspoken and probably being left to a sequel for. But as you'll see in the ending with this, her ending fight scene is just so well done. She is so intense and fierce, and like the total character development over the movie, the fact that this takes place in a 24-hour period is phenomenal out of her. She just goes from A to B, comes out of her shell and everything and just accepts for what it is and saves what she can and just totally does everything fantastic. And that's because she was given, like I said, a very fantastically well done story. The script writing behind this must have been a lot of fun and a lot of thought processing, because it's as engaging as it is gory. And yes, absolutely, we're going to talk about that. The gore is non-stop in this. I mean, there's some shit that goes down that I can't even explain, but I'm never going to look at like catching my fingers and spreading them too far the same way ever again. He hacks, smashes, shoots, explodes, incinerates everything. He's like a walking Mortal Kombat fatality in this movie, okay? Just whatever you can get in that awesome bag of goodies, which is even more amped up this time around, by the way. Make sure you see this movie. I'm telling you, if not for the bag of goodies alone, is just fantastic. We get some familiarity from the old series in this as well. In addition to the awesome gore that we all remember, we see some tie-ins from the first film, because this film, I'm not going to say how, has, like I said, tie-ins to the first because it's a sequel, but how it's tied in again is just trademark Damien Leone, and the way that he took, All Hallows Eve, which was his 2013 film, that was pretty much just his older films wrapped up inside a new film with an outward story that tied everything together, to actually do it this time around and having a full-length feature film to do that on, a proper sequel, in other words. He just took the abilities that he did not have in All Hallows Eve and exceeded them. I'm talking, he just ramped that shit up right to 11, and believe it or not, speaking of ramp that shit up to 11, somebody I know is actually in New York City, and it turns out the whole Terrifier crew was in the city tonight doing premieres and celebrating, and they got cool little Art the Clown glasses. I'm sure we all have seen from the previews Art the Clown with the sunflower glasses. Everybody got one of those. It was really cool to know that somebody actually got to see these individuals celebrate their success, because that's what it's all about. What these people have done, and the whole team of Damien Leone, and the people have come, the people have gone, blah blah blah, but where they are today is all from never giving up. And that's what I always said was the most fascinating thing about Terrifier in my first review this month. The amazing thing about Terrifier is it's living proof that over time, if you just hold on to a concept and idea and execute it the best you can at that time and continue moving forward with the idea until you can get it where you really want it, you're almost destined to do the best things possible for that idea. And that's why you never ever give up on anything, no matter what the circumstance. Again, it was a fantastic film. Everybody did great. The actors and actresses in it were awesome. The kills were so gory. Even the main actress's friends you felt for as they were trying to help this individual overcome their personal situation. It wasn't like the individual had a personal problem and everyone told them they were crazy and no one believed them. There's that in the film too, but it's more from the parental figures versus the friends. And, they try to help them out versus just brushing them off. And a lot of the horror movie cliches that you want to be there are there, but the ones that you always were kind of irked by and we've grown out of are seemingly gone. So really, I gotta say, this is a very intricately well done movie, and you should totally go see it in any capacity. Like I said, between October 6th and 10th, it's in theaters. If it does well, they're gonna do more, so make sure you get your links down below. Also, make sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because we're doing the Halloween special, which is, of course, horror movies that take place on Halloween all month long, and I'll be doing part 2 of this next year and fully covering this film correctly, like you expect an ILSOM 4K review. But right now, I want to keep it vague and nondescript, so that way you go check it out. Of course, 9 p.m., twitch.tv/ILSON4K for the Total Terror-Thon Thursdays. And then we have our late night streaming, 10:30 p.m., Slasher Saturday night, Slash Fest Saturday nights, whatever I want to call it. But again, guys, make sure you get your tickets for Terrifier 2. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitch. It's ILSON4K. Have a happy Halloween.